And I want to,
Everyone.
hey everyone, welcome. Start off by thanking Kayla for putting in the pronunciations. I've done that prior to for myself, and it still never seemed to have any luck. So hopefully we'll figure it out this time. I would like to begin our meeting by recognizing the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Tiahuanape, and Wendat, and is the home of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples as part of an intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings, new relationships, and ask for guidance in all we do.
Well done.
We'll begin by approving the agenda. It resolved the Duntroon Hobart hereby approve the agenda dated April 19th, 2022 as presented. Favor? David? Mark, thank you. At this point, if you could disclose any disqualifying interests and nature thereof, I would appreciate it. None to be had. Perfect. Approval of the previous minutes. If you haven't seen them, you click on that nice blue colored minutes word and they will pop up for you. I don't know if there's anyone has any issues with the minutes. I reviewed them. They seemed like everything had been sort of addressed and attended to. I think the only thing would be the last item, which we can touch on in the meeting. It's just a date for the one stop. If David discussed with Tracy, a date for that to set that. But I think everything else was issued. All right, so be it resolved, Duntroon Hall Board hereby approves the meeting minutes dated March 22nd, 2022 as presented. Supporters, we got Mary, we got the Campbells, thank you. All right, business arising from the minutes, the AODA update. The PCR presentation to council, if you click on the blue, it will outline. I think I forward everybody what Terry's email, and it outlined all the stages that the council, all the resolutions the council has made going forward. Sorry, Dave, I was going to send you a link to the YouTube channel and I forgot to do that.
I didn't get that far anyway.
Yeah. And like you said, there's watching paint drying or watching that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, no, yeah, so
Gord, do you want me to speak to those resolutions at all that the council voted on?
yeah, I mean, sure, you can give probably the best update as you were in attendance. And
all right. Well, I'll try and be brief. So basically, that email that Gord sent out earlier today, everyone. Terry Vachon, he's I guess there were 5 or 6 resolutions or recommendations that he put in front of council. This was, I think, on April the 11th. And I'll be honest with you, the first recommendation that he put in front of us, I didn't vote in favor of that. So the original recommendation required a 10% fundraising commitment from all of the hall boards. And is that the original one, Kayla, or is that the? Yeah, that's the original. That was the original recommendation. I wanted to see that recommendation strengthened. And the reason for that was that 5 of the 6 hall boards were willing to fundraise, 10%, or at least attempt to fundraise 10%. The Nottawa Hall Board was not willing to do that. And I thought, well, we're creating a system where winners and losers here. I didn't feel it was fair for the other hall boards to have to raise 10% if the Nottawa Hall Board wasn't going to. So I put forward an amendment that we not proceed, or that the township or council not commit themselves to proceeding with the renovations to a hall until we got a commitment from the hall board to fundraise the 10%. And I couldn't even get a seconder on that. So that's fine. That's the way politics works. So like I say, the only reason why I did that was because, I felt it wasn't fair to the other hall boards if one hall board wasn't willing to fundraise and the other ones were. So anyway, we went in camera then, because we were starting to get into sort of a negotiations discussion. So we went in camera, and we come up with another recommendation, and the other recommendation was what's is in front of you that Gord has sent out, the updated resolution, which was the one that Gord sent out in this email today. And to me, that was an even weaker recommendation or resolution than the original one. So I wanted the original one strengthened. We went in camera and we come out with an even weaker one to my mind. And so I didn't vote in favor of it, but nevertheless, it did pass and such. So basically now I guess what's going to happen with the new recommendation, the one that did pass, is that Terry will be approaching the hall boards. And I don't think there's anything in there that says that there will be fundraising commitment towards the AODA renovations. But he's going to negotiate with each individual hall board on that. So basically, that's sort of a background on that. The one thing I wanted to say, though, was that this 10%, fundraising commitment that was in the original recommendation, that's over the course of 10 years. And it's just sort of an attempt. No one was going to, the way I understand it, no one was going to hold the hall board to that. It was just to be an attempt to raise that amount of money. And I'll give you an example. The Stainer Library, when they wanted to, when the library board wanted to build the new library, they said to the council of the day, they said, look, we're willing to fundraise $250,000 to put towards the Stainer Library. Well, as it turns out, they could only raise 125,000 or 120,000, something like that. And so anyway, council said, well, look, you gave it your best shot. You couldn't raise the whole amount. And basically they forgave them the rest of the fundraising commitment. And so that was the way that I saw this going forward, was that we were going to ask the hall boards to attempt to fundraise the 10%. And if they couldn't, then, certainly we weren't going to hold them to that. Anyway, so we ended up coming out of it with a weaker recommendation. And, I didn't support it because I felt it was too weak, but I was in the minority there. And it did pass. The other thing too is that I'm just looking here. Hang on one second. So we also agreed that Burnsides would do the the architect's drawings and such. We would use those, and we approved the tender process and such. That was recommendation number 2. And recommendation number 3 was financing. So, we're going to use what's in the reserves right now, which I believe is about 1,600,000, something like that, 1.5, 1.6 million. And that will be for the first 2 halls. And then after that, we have to go and borrow money. And I guess we can get a construction loan. I think right now the rates for the construction loans are like 3.5%. And Kelly, the treasurer, she showed us a chart that showed a 5% or whatever amortized over 20 years. We're looking at committing the township to $450,000 a year for the next 20 years to finance these renovations. Initially in 2012, this was forecast to cost $1 million. And in 2012, we're up to 10 years later, we're going to be looking at $10-12 million now by the time we add all the interest payments in. And we're committing the township to paying this off for either this construction loan off over either 20 or even 30 years. That sort of didn't sit well with me. I think I voted in favor of that, but it really didn't sit well with me. I mean, they're old buildings, and we're going to be paying them off for up to another 30 years, these renovations. So hence, that was one of the reasons why, going back to recommendation number 1, that, I wanted like all the hall boards to have a little bit of a financial commitment to it and such, because we do have to look after the townships, the taxpayers' dollars and everything. Anyway, and then the resolution number 4 was the renovation schedule. So it was determined that Evening Hall and Sunnydale Hall would be done this year because they have the drawings and everything in place and they're pretty much ready to go. And then the Brentwood Hall and Duntroon Hall would be in next year. And I felt that was reasonable. And then in 2024, it'll be the Dunedin Hall and the Nottawa Hall. And I asked that possibly Nottawa Hall be put off till 2025 in order to maybe give them a chance to maybe do a little bit of fundraising and maybe even strengthen their board a little bit, get more volunteers or in more of a commitment from the community, but that didn't go anywhere either. So, and then the construction guidelines. So resolution number 5, let's have a look here. Yeah, so the township's going to cover 100, during the construction, the township will cover 100% of the operating expenses of the hall, including the heat, hydro, water utilities, and miscellaneous operating expenses, but they won't cover any lost revenues during the construction period, such as bookings and such. There was a question at the council regarding, can the halls, I guess, I think it was, what was it? I forget what it was, something to do with cooperating with each other in order to, I guess what it was, let's say you as a Duntroon Hall and if someone came to you and wanted to rent your hall, well, you could maybe send them to the Nottawa Hall, but you would get the revenue for that, for the Nottawa Hall booking, because they were actually booking through you. And I don't think that went anywhere at all. It was felt that was going to be too complicated, so that didn't go anywhere. So anyway, that was about it. So I guess what's happening now is that Terry's going to meet up with the hall board chairs, and it looks like they are going to try and do memorandums of understanding on sort of a one-to-one basis with which each of the hall boards. And so instead of having one template that covers everybody, it'll be sort of on an individual basis, and that's the way that it stands right now.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Doug.
Any questions for Doug?
No, thanks for speaking up on those items.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, Mary. I mean, I'm caught. I do have a little bit of a conflict because in Ward 2 there are 2 hall boards. There's your hall board, which is a very active hall board and such, and then we also have the Dunedin Hall board. I want to see both hall boards do well, and I have to support both hall boards. On the other hand, I have to make my concerns. I have to raise my concerns or voice my concerns because we're spending a hell of a lot of money. We're committing the taxpayer of this township to a lot of money over the next 20 or 30 years. And, I've been vocal at the council meetings because I wanted to get us to maybe think outside of the box and see if there was something that we could do to sort of reduce the cost. And do we actually need all 6 hall boards? I mean, basically we've got, or all 6 halls, I should say, they're the heart of these communities, and I don't want to see them disappear. but it's sometimes hard decisions have to be made. And it's not just that. I mean, we have a station on the Green in Creemore. We have the Stainer Community Center. So we're looking at 8 community centers that we're supporting as a township of how many people do we have in the township? About 14,000 people, 6,000 residences. And, you know, you look at Collingwood, they've got like one, they've got the Leisure Time Club there. And basically, other than that, you know, I don't think they have any halls. If they do, you know, there might be some church halls or whatever. So anyway, we're, you know, it's a lot of money and we have to take that into consideration. So, but on the other hand, I'm trying to support the hall boards too. And I think the general direction that the council wants to go is to fully support the halls and fully do the renovations and everything. So anyway, that's.
Has there been any taxpayer backlash yet?
Just, you know, not official. There's been lots of comments on social media, but you know, that's social media. You know, I think we've had maybe a couple of emails to council, and that's about all.
I think
so nothing's been official.
Yeah, that was discussed at the meeting just about, I think it was Councillor Patterson was saying about going out to the public, and Terry was pretty quick to shut that down just based on the fact that it had already been presented to the public as this was what was happening. And at that point, there was no, so the idea is you're too far along with having done the studies and stuff. You can't start going back now, you know, the commitment was made to go forward with this and you got to stick with it. So the question I had for you, Doug, was I mean, there was some talk of you know, new council coming out. Is there back out clauses? Is there stages whereby maybe the first 2 get done and a council feels like, oh, we've spent the reserve. We're not, you know, it's not in our best interest to take out a loan and continue to do the other ones. How does that all potentially play out is a bit of a concern on my part, but obviously that's the crystal ball and we can't really know that.
Yeah. So that question was asked whether there was any sort of escape clauses and everything, and there aren't really any escape clauses. But having said that, the next council, they're not committed to anything. I don't believe. I mean, maybe I suppose it all depends what's in the memorandum of understanding that you know, Terry comes up with and that you guys sign. But I don't think the next council is committed to going forward if they feel that it's not appropriate to. So it's so, but there is no escape clause as such. I mean, don't get me wrong. My main concern on this was that all the hall boards should be treated the same, and I was a little bit concerned that Nottawa didn't want to do any fundraising, and yet all the other hall boards were willing to fundraise. And I thought, well, okay, well, this is not really fair to the other hall boards. So anyway, that was the reason why I spoke up. But like I say, I was in the minority on that. So anyway, which often happens. So
too bad. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah. Well,
One question. Oh, sorry.
No, it just shows, like, you know, intent. Like, it just shows some motivation to support the whole idea. So that's unfortunate.
I think that the thought is that hall boards and commitment and community, you know, involvement ebbs and flows at different times. So they might just be at a low point right now that they're not feeling the support's there, but in 2 or 3 years they might have a, you know, lustrous group of people that are all for that. So they don't want to sort of pin in on one specific time in one state.
Right.
And that's a good point, Gord. Yeah, the communities, you know, like as you say, there are ebbs and flows in that. For instance, give you an example, Dunedin, they went through a bit of a low period, but now they've got 3 or 4 people, new members of their board, or that are. I don't think they've been officially made board members yet, but they've got 3 or 4 people that will be coming out to the next meeting, new people. So they only had 4 board members to begin with, and now they're basically going to be doubling in size. Same thing with Brentwood. They ended up being down to 2 board members, but now they're sort of building up their volunteer base again and everything. So yeah, you're right. It is ebbs and flows, and maybe that's what NADA was going through right now too. I guess to give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. So.
A couple of things, I guess. One is with the time lag, is there the potential that there still could be some funding in terms of Ontario or federal funding? Like, is there still the potential to be looking for grant money, for example, for the future projects? And the second thing is with that the MOU, if we decided, for example, to increase the scope of work in order to pursue a grant, for example, like a green infrastructure grant, where you're looking at, making the building envelope better and that kind of thing, would that be open, or is that something that's fixed once you've signed the MOU?
That'll have to
Gosh,
be discussed, I think, with
know.
Terry. I mean, that's a good point, and that's something to bring to the table for sure. I mean, we do have a bit of a waiting period. They obviously want to start, they're going to want to start on our plans sooner than later, but given the other 2 plans, the other 2 halls that are starting this year, their plans are pretty much in place. I think they will be pushing forward that way, but I think for us, yeah, I mean, there is still a bit of an opening for what exactly happens.
Okay.
Yeah, when we set up the meeting with Terry, we'll definitely we'll try to do it maybe at the hall and get everyone involved, so we're all sort of up to speed, and if we have things to bring to it, that's a perfect opportunity to do it.
That would be great.
So is Lloyd Hunt still going to be our architect, or are they turning it all over to Burnside crew?
I think they're going to turn it all over to Burnside's. I asked that question at the meeting, and they said that it would probably be Burnside, so that will be the architect. So
I don't know who Lloyd was working for to date.
Yeah, I have to reach out to Terry and find that out. Yeah, you had that consultation with Lloyd, Jim, and yeah, so I haven't gotten any sort of answer on that to figure out how that's all gonna.
Well, Lloyd submitted his bill to Burnside. Yeah, Lloyd submitted his bill to Burnside, but hasn't been paid yet.
Okay.
And that's kind of his sticking point. He's kind of waiting to see if he can get it paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's even worth me following up with Terry, because he probably won't have any say.
A little pressure from the township to Burnside to say, are you paying this guy or what?
Yeah.
Because Lloyd's doesn't seem to be getting anywhere right away. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, and I will inquire about future, acquirement of his services, whether, maybe Burnside's is just like, no, we don't want, to work with him as another entity on that or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, which really ticks me off, and this is on record, that the community cannot, through this municipal protocol thing, choose who they want to work with, and yet Burnsides can choose whoever they want to work. Like, it's totally
Right.
unjust, this system.
Well, and it
I think it's-
doesn't, like, in terms of the whole fairness, like the idea of the way it is set up, it doesn't seem
Yeah,
to be that thorough.
not even supporting a business in our own
Local-
township.
local,
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, within the
It's
township.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can just talk about it for now. Like, I'm just wondering, if we proceed, which I imagine we will, with this commitment for 10% of the costs. I don't, I was just wondering if the hall still, as we originally discussed, maybe even that that Lloyd invoices the hall or something, like that we deal with that, if that was the case and it came off of our 10%, was part of our 10%.
Yeah.
Or something. I was just wondering if,
Yeah, because we had mentioned that in the beginning that we would, that we'd be willing to put some money towards Lloyd, acquiring his services. So but then that was sort of deflected off. So I'll have just some discussions with Terry and just see where that sits. Clarify that.
your side, any-
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is it plugged in?
yeah, anyway. I've finished venting.
I can come back now. Phew.
Getting hot in here. Anyone else? Any concerns with the process going forward? I mean, we do have time, obviously. I know we had discussed we would, they're saying 2023. Obviously, our project won't kick in until the other two are probably completed. I mean, it all depends on the tender process and how that all plays out, and if it's the same company or if it's different companies. So that's sort of hard to know right now, but ideally for us, we don't want to conflict with our rental season, but I'm not sure how much control we're going to have over that.
Did everyone or anyone read the ACO article?
Yeah.
About it? So did it not say in there if the first two were dramatically over budget, that it would be reviewed after? So that in this day and age could pose a big problem, I think.
Mhm.
Depending on how old those budgets were.
Good
I
point.
just,
Mark,
price-
Pardon?
I didn't really, Mark, I didn't really see that on the Echo. I read it, but I just maybe I didn't pay attention. But
Maybe I took it the wrong way. I just thought it said it would have to be reviewed, like when they were proceeding, something along those lines. Pretty sure I kept it just so I had it, but maybe I
Yeah.
didn't. Maybe I can't read.
I got it here.
Well,
Let me just-
at the council meeting, I don't think council indicated that they were going to sort of see how the first two halls go and then review it. I think there seems to be a commitment from council to proceed on all 6 halls. So,
That doesn't mean the Echo didn't.
Anything can happen. Anything's
Right.
gonna happen though.
True.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the Echo didn't misinterpret what was said and print what they wanted.
Yeah. It was a while ago I read it, but yeah. Anyway.
I just priced a 2x6 the other day. They're $235 a foot, and pre-COVID they were about 80 cents. So if you're looking at price of everything, that's tripled.
Yeah. If you can get it.
Well, 2x6s are available, but there's other stuff that's delayed and hard to find.
Yeah, I'm just reviewing the article right now. I'm not seeing that, but I do recall what you said.
I recall that as well. So
Yeah, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe it was another article. It's not in this one.
Anyway, I didn't mean to throw everybody off. I just
Yeah, my comment was on if you have any say in the date, timing, if we started it in October, end of September, October, hopefully most of the buck and doe season is over, and all we really have to do is get the foundation in the ground and the building closed in for the front entrance. everything else is within the building, so it would be a great winter project. And that, you know, we shoot for a mid-March completion so we can still have green beer. Because green beer is the way I was doing the math. I think if we already take we're at 95,000 or 950,000. So if we have to come up with our 10%, that's 95,000 we have to come up with. We have 25, and in 10 years, if the green beer makes 7,000 a year, there's your 70 you need to come up with.
Yeah.
So
One
like
thing. Oh, sorry, David, you were.
Go ahead.
I was just, we were talking to Councillor Doug there one day, and when he suggested, with the incredible success of Green Beer Day, what about an Oktoberfest
Yeah.
one too, which I don't know.
3.5 years and we're already there, right?
What's that?
3.5 years and then we're all paid.
Yeah.
Let's expedite. Okay, so here's the statement that you're talking about. Wednesday's meeting allows staff to go to tender, the results of which will reveal the true cost of the project. Because right now we've got estimates, right? The tender is going to give us a true cost. Vachon said that if the costs are much higher than anticipated, we'll have to come back to council for reevaluation. So I guess it's the tender costs that you know, they've got the estimates. Burnside thinks it will be, and now it's what do the tender companies come back with.
It'll be all on the timing of when that estimate was done.
Yeah.
We're running into that every day.
Yeah.
Municipal tenders, it was priced 6 months ago, a year ago, everything's changed drastically.
Yeah, on the timing issue, I just realized this, Monica, me initially, but for rental for a year from now. So in 2023, when we, you know, could be renovating, it's interesting how we're going to handle that if people are calling to book for next year.
Maybe, would you take their booking and assuming that it's, then try to find a different hall or something? Just, I don't know, because it may not go according to what we think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't even know when the tender would be called now.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what
Business
council's
away?
thought. I'd be
Sorry.
curious to know what council's thought of timeline is, like, and the tender people, what their timeline is, if they're expecting it to be a 6-month project or a year project.
It says 8 months.
Yeah.
The expectation.
I think 6 to 8 months for each hall, apparently.
Hmm.
And, you know, I don't know. I mean, these are just numbers that were given to council. I have no idea whether that's an accurate estimate or not, but it's 6 to 8 months for each hall, so.
So the goal is that I think they want to start August. I'm thinking is what the goal is for the first two. So on a 6 to 8 month, we're looking at next summer, probably fall. By the time, you know, like it'll probably be a full year around, I'm guessing. Yeah, so we're looking next fall, 2023. So I think, given that information at this point, I think I would best bet that we're not running for, you know, next fall through winter. But obviously no guarantees there, but that's the best guess we can make right now. But, you know, maybe it's 6 months and maybe they're done at the end of spring and then we're going to roll right into us in summer. But once again, I think that's being optimistic.
It would depend, I think, a lot on the availability of product,
Mhm.
and the size of the company that does the job. Like, it's what I'm looking at for what needs to be done on each floor. There's no reason why that couldn't be turned around in 6 months quite easily. But if you're waiting on product, then that can be delayed.
Does the construction industry have the same problem as other businesses with getting employees?
Yeah.
Big time.
Employees, product, everything's
Crazy.
lagged.
Crazy.
It's something I'm wondering in terms of that scheduling thing that maybe council should consider, Doug. I don't know if, like, because from a council's point of view, they probably wouldn't realize that we're getting requests for booking a year ahead or something, you know, like maybe we, at some point, that I'm thinking some instructions should go out to the halls. It's too early to know when, but the sooner the better as to when to not book things, maybe.
So, yeah, I don't know that that's something that council should get involved in. I'm just sort of wondering, would that not be best just to have that in the memorandum of understanding? Because it seems, as I said, it seems to me that Terry is going to do an individual one with each hall, so that could be, because council, council don't want to compromise you guys, on bookings, or they don't want to restrict your bookings if they don't have to. So I think that would be something that's better put in the memorandum of understanding.
Okay, good.
I think Monica, maybe going forward, it's just so that, like, if people are looking to book out 2023, because we don't have really any control, is to say there is potential that we will be under construction. So for your own security, you can book with us, but maybe book a backup. And as soon as we know, we will let you know, we'd love to have you, but this is sort of out of our hands. So at least it leaves it open. And if they can book a backup, then their second choice, they can, jump on.
So is that for the whole 2023 year?
I would say fall on, like from,
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's going to affect our spring. I think we can even, request to push that, so that we do get all our spring stuff in.
Okay.
I would think probably start of September would be kind of the.
Yeah, and we don't really get a ton
Start
in we don't get a lot in July and August anyway. So, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. Fall on.
Okay, I'll deal with that if it arises.
Yeah. Have you had requests for booking for that yet?
Not just started for March and April. I have bookings.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can honor that, and yeah, I like to think we get honor. Let's say definitely up until June. I mean, if you get a flood of requests for stuff in July and August, we'll have to consider that. But I think for the most part.
But what about New Year's Eve? Because it's a big one. That's out?
I'd say probably definitely not.
Okay.
And the Christmas
Family stuff.
parties.
That's where maybe they could be recommended to another hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them that are repeat every year, I might give them the heads up early, like the Red Pass and people like that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
As they're going through this 2022 season, just let them know for next year.
But I wouldn't hurry into doing that until after until after you've had a couple more meetings with Terry and get something a little bit more definite. And such.
It's good to think about.
Yeah.
Great. All right. We good with the AODA for now? Okay. Spring cleaning was another issue from the minutes. I think
Good job today.
next tonight, if anyone wants to go out in their snowsuit, get the snow blowers out.
Yeah, but we need a spring, first of all.
Yeah.
So I think this is later on in the thing for new business, but I think next month we're looking pretty good for in-person meetings. They've been opened up, so I think this meeting we are to vote on whether we want to proceed in person. So if we would like to vote on that, then we can basically attach maybe a spring cleaning with that meeting next month, if that works for everyone.
You might need to have spring cleaning done before then.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
The grass will need cut by, like, we're talking 4 weeks from now will be mid-May. Grass could need to be cut by then. I'm thinking this is something that needs to happen in probably the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right.
Like by the 1st of May is, you
Yeah.
start to get grass growing and gravel is holding things down and back. And if that's the concept, is to get the sticks picked up and the gravel raked up.
Yeah. All right, let's see. May 1st, Sunday. Anybody that is a weekend?
We're away, Gord.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can go and do our workforce.
What if we don't want to?
We just know where to dump all the clippings if they're away.
Thanks, Mark.
The goats would be happy.
Yeah. Let's throw them over the fence.
Hey,
What's our next meeting?
Tuesday the 3rd, it's light enough now that you
Yep.
could do it an after supper, like at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
In
Good
an hour
idea.
and a half, you've got it done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's
May
put that on
3rd?
the books then. The 3rd, anytime after 6.
What all is involved in spring cleaning anyway?
It's just picking up sticks, raking things, just getting to the yard before the grass cutters do, and just making it look presentable. The park portion of it. Just
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
just basic yard cleanup. Nothing too crazy. Maybe attend to the dog kennel, make sure it's functioning properly.
Do you have any gates need adjusted or anything?
Yeah, gates adjusted. I don't think there's a garbage can out there, whatever. Just just basic, nothing crazy.
Is fine.
Spread the picnic tables out and
This is warm.
sweep it up. Good. All right, that's great. Financial report, Mary, anything to?
Well, money in, money out, we're pretty much the same bank balance as we were last month. As of today, it's $26,905.
You spent all the green beer money already?
The green beer deposit was in March.
Yeah. So it was 60.
So the March 31st
Oh, I
bank
see.
balance. Yeah, March 31st bank balance was.
Oh, that 26, the 26,000 last month already included the green beer. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, didn't spend $6,000.
Okay. That's all I was checking.
Yeah. The only two deposits this month were a couple of buck and does.
Yeah.
Okay, we move on. Monica, event and booking update.
Maybe while Monica's connecting there, I was driving by one day and saw there was an event on when the power was out. And I'm not sure if it, you know, disrupted their event or if they were closing up anyway, but maybe, I think we kind of have an ad hoc policy, but should we have a policy with regards to that when there's that kind of interruption from a hall breakdown or what would you call that? Mechanical issue,
Failure.
that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Never see, yeah, like, I don't know if does the contract say anything with regards to that? I don't think so.
In the past, we've just been good to people.
Yeah.
You know, if
Just
something's
reimburse
really screwed up, we
reimburse
just-
them or offer them another rental.
I seem to
Or knock
recall that
some
we've
stuff.
done either or, like sometimes offered, depending on what the event was, another rental or to reimburse, you know, partial or full. Like, it just came to my mind because I saw this thing and I was thinking, oh dear, you know, I had no idea what time they were supposed to be there, but I wasn't sure if Monica was going to bring that up, if she'd heard from the renters or not, but just as something to put on the radar.
We lost Monica.
Yeah.
And also, are there things that have to get reset, like the thermostat and stuff when the power goes off?
No, they should be all right. They're all battery backup.
Oh, okay.
I think the concern would be from a liability standpoint, what, you know, should people be using the hall if there is no power services? But I guess if there are the battery backups, then all the alarm systems and all that stuff should still operate. Yeah, I'm curious to hear if there was a report. So Monica's gone. She's left.
Yeah.
She got it hung up on her.
Yeah.
So I think she's trying to get back on. Haven't got a word back on that one yet.
All right.
But in that case, it was during the day from 4 till 7:30.
Oh, the day the power was out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was still light, but I know it'll still be a little bit dark in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking mostly in terms of the kitchen. I think Monica's back though.
Oh, there she is.
I'm
Yep.
here.
All right, well, we were just talking event and booking update, and just Suzanne mentioned that I guess on the weekend when the power was out, there was a group in there. If there was any concerns with that.
Yeah, well, she phoned me and said, the power's out, where's the switch? And I said, there's no switch, lady, the power's out. Not quite like that, but basically.
Yeah.
So they left. They had candles and stuff, she said, but they left, and she texted me. She said, I don't know what's on and what's not on, but we have to leave. So I went down, and once the hydro came on, I went down, and all the lights were on, and the toilets needed flushed and stuff like that. So it was fine.
Yep.
And I think they were almost done anyway.
Okay, that's good.
Good. Okay, good. Any other updates regards to bookings? Everything's going all right down there?
I think so. Everybody's happy. We're booked right up till middle of June. We had a cancellation, but I managed to rebook the night. We have a wedding in October. And then we have 3 family events in November, and we booked New Year's Eve.
Perfect.
And I have 3 bookings for next year.
Wow.
Great. Excellent. All right. That's all over she wrote. We can jump to facility review. If there's any things there. I did actually look into whether you can paint carpets, and apparently you can. It's not that uncommon. So given that we're not going into construction and we basically have pretty much a full year of rentals, I was just considering if that's something I might take on if I'm in support of the hall on that. I give it a clean and then just spray and brush some color into that carpet and get rid of the look and hopefully the smell a bit.
You have to use bin to seal that carpet.
What do you say?
You have to
The
use that
trouble
Windsor
is when
bin
the-
stuff. That's
Yeah, the trouble will be when the carpet starts running away from you.
Yeah, exactly. No, don't pay me. I like my leopard beer
It's
skin.
got a life of its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna try and tame it a little bit. Any color suggestions?
Sounds
think I'll
like a
probably
good
have to
idea,
go-
though.
I'd probably have to go black or something dark anyways.
I have a carpet cleaner here that I bought from Home Depot, same one as you can rent. I have it here if you wanted to try it. See if
Sure.
you can clean the carpet with it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think it's just just to get a little of the crap out and just moisten and soften it. So when I do put the spray, when I do spray the paint, that at least it has something to run and absorb to a little more.
Ron, do you sell that paint?
No comment. I don't
Apparently,
even wanna go
it's just any latex, like just any good latex will work. But
But that's a good point. Would you have to put that bin, like have some sort of sealer on it to?
that would make it pretty crunchy. I think. It's such a short-term thing that it's just trying to, just even temporarily, just get rid of that the grossness of it, just so at least people
Yeah.
are, they glaze over it as opposed to catch wind of it.
Once you turn the lights
Yeah.
off, you don't even see it.
I was just gonna say, once it gets dark at night in there, like nobody's there before 9 o'clock. It's always pretty much dark by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're good to go. Nobody looks down.
I'd be concerned, but it'd be hard and slippery. And
Yeah.
it might make things worse. It's not gonna absorb, it's just gonna sit on top, and we don't want that.
Well, it's not like a roll. You wouldn't be rolling. So the process that I've read about is basically you take a paint sprayer, you spray film over top, and then you brush it in with like a broom, like a push broom, and then that sort of just spreads it around. And it's not like it's gonna cake on. It's not like you're using a roller or anything and just caking the paint on. You're more like actually getting into the carpet fibers and filaments and keeping it soft. I
That
don't know.
carpet's pretty flat though.
What's that?
That carpet's pretty flat.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of pile to it to get anything worked into.
Well, I could do a little
Have to do
test. A little test.
Try it at
do
your
that
house
main
first.
What's that?
Try it at your house first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do a little test sample. See if it works.
Kind of like spray painting your lawn green.
Hmm. That or just if we had like some a big throw carpet to put down or something to roll out. But
That'd
Would
a
it be
trip
too
hazard.
much work to rip the carpet up and then just stain the floor a dark color?
that'd be pretty messy.
Don't know what the,
I-
what,
I'd be afraid to find out what's underneath that carpet.
Yeah.
Good point.
just, I can't remember, what about the just steam cleaning, like Rick Wiley thing? I can't remember. We talked about that before, but whether it was too far gone or,
I've steam cleaned it a couple times and it's pretty far gone. Like it doesn't really, if anything, yeah, you're getting out a lot of crap, but you're really not changing the complexion of the rug.
right.
I don't think it needs done at all. Nobody cares about the carpet.
All right.
Maybe they'll donate more money for the renovation if they dust them, yeah.
Yes, we could put a wanted poster up. Wanted to get rid of this carpet.
So you're saying we should make it stinkier and dirtier?
Yeah.
So is,
They do
is painting it off the table then, or off the rug?
Oh,
I wouldn't do it.
floor.
I think it sounds interesting, but
Yeah, but Monica said nobody, and David said nobody cares, don't do it. And Ron didn't sound too confident about the result.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of effort for the gain.
Yeah, so
Got
that's
other
off the,
things-
so
Yeah,
that's
my-
off the table then?
My thought is if I was gonna clean it, then it would be a pretty easy application after the cleaning. And it's cleaning that actually takes probably the majority of the time, but. So I just thought, follow up to that, but now I don't need to do it, so.
So that's a no-go
Leave it
then?
as is. Perfect. Any other facility items need addressing?
I put the code locks on the bowling alley. I had an issue with one that was being a little bit cantankerous. The inch and 3/8 door on the main entrance to the bowling alley, the screws were tightening to the panel and they wouldn't let it operate. So I had to cut the screws off. They're meant for inch and 3/4 doors. So anyway, by the time I got done screwing around with that, I didn't get a chance to change code. So right now they're both just stupid codes that are on them. But one day I will get in and readjust the codes so they'll be something simple. I was thinking 12491 with 2 roads, 12491. You don't want it the same as the green number. You want it something that's different so that not everybody that has the code to get in for the buck and dough can get into the bowling alley.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
What about the sweeper?
Floor cleaner?
Yes.
Yes, so he sent me a quote for everything. He's already done a bit of work, and for the other work he wants to do, the total bill comes to just under $400. So I told him to go ahead.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I can send the quote he sent me, but the back brush needs replaced and some hose needs replaced and stuff like that. So I didn't think that was too bad, considering we've never done anything to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. And the flush valves and rings for the toilets?
Did that. And then I guess I sent the email out that we got the septic pumped because Monica commented the toilets were slow. And I thought it was because I shut the water off to the upstairs ones. And then I got thinking about it that might not be the toilet she was referring to. So I went in and checked the lower ones, and yeah, we had the tank wasn't too bad. The filter out of the tank was bunged, and the gray water out of the kitchen sink from down there, it was in bad shape. So all the grease and stuff that from Joseph, etc. So all that got sucked out. Everything's all good now.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, the septic, that was $480. So that, that's good.
You paid that, did you, Mary?
Oh, yes.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, I have the date here. So. Yeah, it's been paid.
Good, not a problem. They were pretty quick to come out. I called them, or I sent text Thursday night, and they were there by noon, I think, on Friday. So.
Yeah, that's good. April 6th, I paid it.
Hopefully that new system would be in the budget, renovation budget.
It is. There's a new septic system in that. If you looked at all the numbers that what Lloyd and I had come up with as a budget, I think they added like 85,000 for septic upgrades.
Yeah. Which is going to make quite a difference to our landscape there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to move the playground equipment out of there for somewhere.
Or can we go
I ma-
past it?
I imagine, well, given that the well is pretty close, it may be. I think one thing I've been wondering, like between that and the lack of use of the playing field. You know, when we did this renovate, whenever it was 2008, or I can't even remember when we did all that stuff that's behind Gord there, I think, in his picture. You know, the idea was to maintain the option for a playing field, but I think the septic's going to totally disrupt that anyway. And was in just as an idea for the future, thinking how the Canada is committed to planting how many billion trees to address kind of climate change stuff, if we should just plant a whole bunch of trees. Like right now, you know, they're doing a lot of mowing and burning up fuel for a bunch of space that's not even used.
Well, and to go with that too, like looking, you know, not just trees, but the whole idea of rewilding a little bit there. So it, you know, and it could be like, I think some people have talked about pathways and stuff like that still
Yeah.
through there, but it could be quite nice as another little ecosystem,
A park.
you know, like a little, yeah, like a shaded area, another shaded area, or that kind of thing. And a nice habitat for animals.
Yeah, building upon what Roz and Suzanne did there in a way, just extending it, just as a thought, which too early to do anything because this septic is a major, like it'll be a pretty big,
Bed.
yeah, and raised and da. But just I'm just wondering if I always, you know, growing up there, playing sports and things like that, I always would love to see that come back, but you really have to question whether that's ever, if it's irrelevant now. And if we should just reimagine the park more like you know, High Park in Toronto, where it is just forest trails and things like that.
Yeah, which get a lot of use in a different way, right? Like,
Yeah.
anyway, idea.
Good idea. All right.
The outdoor lights, that was another item. The timer on the outdoor lights adjusted for daylight saving time.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. The parking lot light. I forgot all about that.
Does it need just to be switched on or just the timer adjusted?
All the above.
Yeah.
I thought it did it
Is it-
automatically, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not just too sure that during COVID though, that we maybe did shut it right off because nobody was using the park. So we only had it coming on Saturday nights mostly, and there was no events going on. So I think we kind of turned it off.
Oh, maybe, right.
The only question keeps coming back. Mark, did you ever secure any LED lights?
No,
No.
no, I didn't. Never, maybe I should pester him again, because I didn't have any luck, no.
I did turn it back on.
You did turn it on?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Has anybody noticed it on?
Sorry, Gord, I didn't hear that.
Has anybody noticed whether the light has been on at all in the evenings?
I haven't noticed.
It
This
was only
is
on.
quite a while ago. I noticed it was not on one night when we came by late and there was people there, but that was
That
a
was
month
long
or
time
more ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
The timer was only set for Saturday nights, if I remember correctly.
And when I leave on Saturday nights, it's not on.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're gonna address that.
If anybody gets to it, send me a text and I won't bother screwing with it. There's no sense two of us screwing with it.
Yeah. New business, Small Halls Festival. So we have procured the September 10th date for our hosting event. There is a potential that because 2 of the halls are going to be in renovations, that they might be looking to host something at one of the other halls. And so I offered ours up as a opportunity for them. Other than that, I'm not sure if Suzanne, you had any luck reaching out to the entertainment
Mystery guest? Yeah, I did. I reached out and it was a long shot. It was for Jeremy Dutcher. And I got in contact with his agent, and he is out in BC for that day.
Okay.
But it turns out that agent, I guess, reps a lot of artists that play at Avening. Like he mentioned Elliot Brood and, you know, Great Lake Swimmers. And he asked if we'd be interested in having something like that. And I said I would check with the board to see if there's anything that, you know, we would be interested in having. And again, I mentioned, you know, that our sister hall is Avening and that we would want to make sure we weren't, you know, taking on an act that they would want to be having perform there or whatever.
Yeah, so once again, they're closed, so that's not a concern.
Oh. Right.
They'll be in construction, so they're not planning anything for the small halls at that time of year. I don't think, I got the sense that both them and Brent Witt are basically gonna step back from coordinating anything at their own halls. I mean, we could do something in conjunction with Evening if you know, if they felt, you know, that would, but at least it does open that doorway up that we aren't stepping on their toes and we're not taking away, you know, there's no competition there for getting people out. And I think their clientele would probably quite appreciate if we did host something of that nature.
Blackie and the Rodeo Kings are always a big draw.
They're good.
They're probably very expensive too.
I don't even know, do they still perform as Blackie and the Rodeo King?
Yeah, yeah.
I know Tom Wilson's he's doing a lot of indigenous based stuff because he is part Cree. I don't know. I can't remember what his.
Yeah, and he does stuff with his son too, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good option too. Maybe Suzanne get back to him and just sort of see what he has available for in that date. For that date.
Okay.
And then we can sort of maybe assess for selection purposes. And I do like the Blackie and the Rodeo Kings option. If I'm not sure who reps them, but maybe I'll look into that.
I saw them I've seen them several times, but I saw them at Avening and the place was just jam packed. So we wouldn't have any problem.
Yeah.
SRO for for Duntroon Hall.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Right now.
Yeah. And trying to think of, Roz mentioned something of interest to tie in with the high noon chicken races. Roz, the floor is open.
You can do it. Okay.
You explain it much better than I.
All right. So this will be more of a family friendly event, I guess, but just having a like a high tea option for people, and also having the Georgian Bay Sound big band playing, like just up on the bar area. We wouldn't have to take down the railing or anything. But you know what, my family likes high tea. I don't know. I just know there's not really an option for that in Collingwood anymore. And the nice thing about it too is that it's all pre-ordered. So you don't have to wouldn't waste any food. You'd know how many people were going to be getting it. And then people could also just have tea and coffee and see the music if they wanted to. So.
Yeah, so there's an opportunity with programming, like if you know, we do our regular event of, you know, the chicken races, then, and if we're doing a concert later that evening, is to have like an afternoon concert and then an evening concert to sort of diverse different crowds. But also if we're already in setting up for the evening, you know, preparing for an evening event, and it's already ready to go to host another, you know, an afternoon event. I don't know, if the timing was set properly, it wouldn't be a conflict, and I think it could be a nice sort of to fill out the whole day. It's just, yeah, it's just managing it. It's like Georgian Sound is, if it was something of that nature, you know, to bring them in for like 3 to 4 or in that range, it just sort of fills that gap between when the evening event goes into play. So that's a consideration.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. It would be some work though, because you have to have, like Roger, you'd have to have white tablecloths and those tiered trays with the little sandwiches and stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
Fancy cups.
Yeah.
I just went to Midland last week for high tea, and it was $40.
And what did you get with that?
A good selection, like a little tiny quiche, and then a selection of little like tea sandwiches. One of them was a little bit bigger. It was on a croissant, so it was egg salad, and then 2 scones, and then because it's on the tiered little china trays, right? And then a good selection of desserts, like little dainty desserts, and as much tea as you could drink.
And was there entertainment?
Pardon me?
Was there entertainment?
No.
Okay.
No,
That's
the
good.
woman that owns the place was talking to us, and she said that it's become really popular. Like they have people in there celebrating their 80th, and it's not just all women, their 85th birthday. They had a birthday party for a little 3-year-old princess. Somebody from Midland was on whoever won the Stanley Cup last year. So the Stanley Cup was there one day. So I was surprised at all that it wasn't just, like older women going to have an afternoon out. It was a real variety.
Yeah.
So I think you're onto something there, Roz.
Could I jump in and ask a question? This is the first time I've heard of the high tea. I think it's a good idea. But this is the Queen's Jubilee year, and I think it's in June that her 70th, the Platinum Jubilee. Is that something that could be tied in with the high tea, celebrating the Queen's Jubilee?
Yeah.
Jubilee tea.
Yeah, Jubilee tea. It's I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. Just a thought. When you guys mentioned high tea, I thought, wow. And this is the Queen's Jubilee year, so and just the two might tie together.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Is anybody in town? Is there any businesses that do high teas in our area?
No.
There
When I looked into it, because I took my friend there for her birthday, there's one in Barrie, in Midland, and Erin, but nothing for Collingwood.
They used to have one, I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it was like it had the storefront. Remember how those British things in the storefront, and then up in the back they had the
Oh,
cafe.
yes.
So that was the last time we were able to have it here, but
That's gone now.
yeah, I just wondered who they were, if they're still in the area, because we could get like sort of pre-ordered, I don't know, get someone to make it for us, I guess, if it wasn't too expensive, but I guess it probably would be. And
Yeah. Yeah, for them to make money and us to make money.
yeah. So if we were to put it together, would we need the health thing? We'd all need the health, whoever was doing it would need that, right?
Food handler.
Yeah, generally, which, I mean, if we do like the food court sort of idea that we've done with this, with the chicken races, it's all, we could just pretty much tie it in. We're already going through the process. It's not a big add-on. So maybe Rosalie, with you, just see if there's anyone out there who would, facilitate, I don't know, heavenly desserts, or if there's anything around that would entertain that sort of a concept, and think of, scale, how big we open it up to, and go from there.
Or maybe we could just try high tea another time, like high tea and chicken race. I mean, I don't know if that's
High
kinda,
noon, high tea.
yeah, true.
Well,
But what
and I was
about-
thinking,
Oh, sorry.
well, I was just thinking like if, weather, it's nice to have something indoors if, if the weather is bad, and people come for the chicken race and they know that they're going to be able to come inside and have something warm too, especially like kids like high tea too. So I don't know, but we could do it another time too.
Oh, we'll consider.
Yeah, good idea.
See what the organizational components are, and if we can fit it in, we can fit it in. If not, put it off or do it another, whether it's in the summer.
Or, yeah, maybe like Doug was suggesting, you could do a little June thing.
Yeah.
June Jubilee, high tea.
Call me old fashioned, but I just think Queen's Jubilee and high tea goes better together than chicken race and high tea. I just,
That-
I know you guys do things differently in Duntroon, but
Yeah.
chicken races and high tea,
Well,
I
that's-
just don't see the.
That's where I was going with my comment too, that it's,
I think there are different elements of Duntroon history, farming and British people. I don't know.
Sounds like we're excluding the chickens from high tea. This could raise some problems.
yes.
Okay, that's good. Any other thoughts around small halls at this point? We'll continue to look for entertainment. Otherwise, I mean, a lot of the other components, unless, once again, if anyone's got something they would like to add to it or build upon it or take away from it, let me know. And
Just on the schedule there, wasn't there a discussion last time to have the chicken race later? In the early, like 6 o'clock or something like that, or
With foxes.
and then food and then the
and then the
event?
concert. Yeah, we definitely,
Right.
that would make sense for sure. So you're thinking like 6?
Doesn't give a lot of time.
Are we getting too dark, or is it? Or do we do the chicken race a little? Yeah, I
Not
guess-
in September.
Yeah, we're pretty good there. So, yeah,
It'd be like now, it'd be getting dark at 8 o'clock or something.
okay. Yeah, so races at, sort of a bit of a, open the gates at like 5, races at like 6, food served from 5 to 7-ish. Concert starts at 8.
Hmm.
Does that work? Roughly? Could be adjusted.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I mean, if any of the, the food people, they can, vendors want to stay on longer and take advantage of concert going crowd, they can.
Mhm.
The late arrivals through the evening. All right. It's good. New business, the last item, in-person meetings. So our next meeting is scheduled for May 17th. I don't know if we have to make a motion to go in person.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. I would like to make a motion that we do our next hall meeting in person at the Duntroon
I
Hall.
second.
On the, what?
I second that.
Oh, you second it. Okay, I thought you said 22nd. I was like, what? Perfect. We've got firsts, we got seconds, we got all hands in, all on board. Look forward to it.
We didn't talk about the one-stop Christmas shop
Oh, that's right.
or about Taylor.
So I don't, Nicole's not here to follow up on that. There was a sort of a back and forth with Sasha on that. And I'm not exactly sure that, I think Sasha was sort of reinforcing what Kayla had said at the last meeting. So I'm not really sure where Nicole ended up with that. Monica, I don't know if you.
I don't know a thing.
No, okay. She's not here to comment, so we'll have to discuss that next time. And stop.
The one stop, Trace is saying November 12th or 19th, do it on a Saturday rather than a Friday night.
November 12th or 19th.
Monica, you got any?
Remembrance Day weekend is the 12th. Do we have
Yeah,
anything?
November 12th is booked.
November 12th is booked? 19th is open or not?
Yes.
So just the one day, just Saturday.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, what is it booked for on the 12th?
Family Christmas.
Oh, during the day then, okay. No, I was just thinking it was an evening thing that, they'd be out of there by 4 o'clock type thing, that it could be turned over to a buck of dough people at that time or whatever, so.
No, it's a repeat family Christmas every year.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So what's roughly the timing? You're saying 1 to 5, 1 to 4?
Okay, timing? You're thinking like 10 till 3 type thing or what? Probably a 9 to 2.
9 to 2.
9 to 2, 9 to 3, something like that.
Okay. So yeah, Monica, if you do want to book something after the, like from 4 or 5 on, whatever, that it will be available at that for double.
Would people be able to go in and set up Friday night? Because sometimes takes some of them quite a while to set up.
Probably could.
Yeah, assuming
I
that
don't
we
think-
don't book
As long as there's
anything.
nothing booked on Friday night, then yeah. Most of them aren't going to, because they should be able to do it in an hour. They get there at 8 o'clock and fire it up, ready to go by 9. Right, does that make sense? they don't need to set up the night before. Most people set up in an hour, wouldn't they? Yeah, just the day of.
Okay,
Good. Perfect. Thanks, Mary, for picking those things out. Skipped over that. All right. So next meeting, May 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Duntroon Hall. Be resolved, Duntroon Hall Board meeting hereby be adjourned at 8:30.
I have a question.
All right, I was
Sorry.
one number away. What do you got?
When's the AGM?
Uh,
Do we have a date for that?
we usually do it. We usually do it in the. When do we usually do it?
I thought it was this spring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next meeting?
Should we book it in for next meeting? Sounds good.
Kayla, that's okay with you?
yep, no problem.
All right, add that in.
And the cleanup is on the 3rd, right?
The 3rd.
Somebody send a text, I'm apt to forget.
Okay,
Perfect. Be resolved, the Duntroon Hall Board meeting hereby be adjourned at, I want to do 8:33 because that's when we adjourned our last meeting, but we got 8:32. We were 1 minute faster this meeting. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank